Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Ask Dr. Be Good show, the show where we bring you the interesting, the now unbelievable things happening in public education. Who could have foreseen COVID, right? So one of the first things that I want to do is introduce our guest that will be on today. And that is, we have Maggie Ortiz. Maggie, say hi.
Hello.
And she is our district RN, and you hang out at Mesquite Elementary. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, but you oversee the district as far as, especially this COVID period. You've been making sure that we have the latest numbers and so forth. So we also have somebody new with us, Miss Laura Montoya. Laura Montoya is our newest bilingual counselor for K-5, and she joins us in addition to our crew. So we've grown and gotten another counselor as opposed to replacing one. We haven't replaced, we've added. Because of our numbers, we are increasing our enrollment. Despite COVID, we still have lots of people who want to go to school with us. And so, welcome. Talk a little bit about your background, Laura, please.
Thank you, Dr. Good. I am a bilingual counselor, and I'm just happy and thrilled to be with Legacy Charter School, and I'm here to talk to you about mental health and some of the things that we can do to stay healthy during this pandemic.
And what's your background? Where did you get your counseling degree, and where were you working before this?
I was working in Louisville Independent School District as well as Denton, and I got my master's degree in Amberton University, and I have taught early childhood all the way to high school. So
Okay.
I have had a lot of experience with different grade levels.
Well, that's one of the nice things about school counselors, in Texas at least. The TEA requires school counselors to have at least 3 years of teaching experience. And I think that becomes very valuable in the sense of understanding the school environment and how it functions before becoming a counselor. So welcome again. We know that we have great need of your services, and you're going to show off some of those skill sets that you have later on today in our show. We also have with us Margaret Griffith. In our technical world, we can only stream in 2 people into the studio. And so Margaret is on the phone. She was on the phone with us last time. And that allows us to get some people from Legacy that you may not know telling you about their area of expertise in the ways that we need it. For example, one of the things that you may have noticed, parents, is that not only did Legacy go to having to be remote learning until after Labor Day, but today, Tarrant County Health Department said that Tarrant County schools could not think about opening their buildings until the end of September, September 28th, I believe. And so changes are still happening. And so we are working hard to get our remote learning better than it was, certainly better than it was in March and April, May. And then I heard from parents, I heard from teachers how much better our online learning was during the summer. And trust me when I tell you, I meet with the curriculum team and the coaches. And today we met with the counselors as well, to talk about what will next year's beginning of school look like, and how can we do this better remotely. And if we know that the remote world is not going to go away for a while, if ever, not that we think, Dr. Good did not say Legacy will be doing remote learning forever. What I mean by that is that we may always have the ability to have kids who are home because they're sick and can't join us in the classroom, but they can start being counted if they can get online and do the work, right? So, but one of the things that we have been trying to do for the last week plus is trying to get a feel for the numbers. How many kids or how many parents are saying their kids are going to go to school versus kids who are going to stay home and do remote learning. And we have not been able to get a strong response. So Margaret Griffith is our PEAMS manager, Skyward manager, and she is going to talk a little bit about the fact that how many kids worth, because we have parents who have siblings, right? And so we don't want to know how many parents have responded. What we want to know is from the parents who have responded, which is about 25%, by the way, not nearly enough, how many of them have said that their kids are coming to school versus staying home. So Margaret, can you give us the latest numbers, please?
Sure. So at Mesquite, I'll start with Mesquite West. So in the elementary, I have 62 students requesting face-to-face and 131 requesting online learning.
Okay, so out of elementary, there's a possibility of having almost 600 kids who would normally come K-5. Out of those 600 kids, we've gotten responses for a total of 200 kids?
Mm-hmm.
So we're only a third of our kids' parents have responded. So 2/3 have not in elementary and Mesquite. All right, keep going to middle school.
The middle school is 34 parents request face-to-face, or students. Online learning is 113.
So out of the 356.8, we only have less than 200.
Yes.
Matter of fact, less than 150.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still about a third, right?
Yes.
Okay, and high school?
So at the high school, I have 31 students requesting face-to-face and 96 for online learning.
Out of 275 kids?
Yeah, I would round closer to 300 this year.
Okay, so out of 300 high schoolers, we only have about 100 that have answered? So again, a third.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our dilemma, folks. We need closer to 80 to 90% of you to answer your Skyward surveys. So, Margaret, if we don't have parents who have gotten a survey, what do they do next?
Yeah, they will get one. I'm going to send out another message this week. This message this week will include all of our new families that have turned in all of their paperwork that have been accepted with us. So that should give another round of people a chance to respond, in addition to our returning families that they can go ahead. Maybe they have the information they need now to answer the question. I think it was a scary thing for parents to go and answer these things, and they might not have felt like they had all the answers, but I feel like we've done a really good job on providing a peace of mind to whatever degree we can right now for parents to make those decisions. So again, we'll send out another survey today or tomorrow for everybody to answer the question again, to fill out the form.
So, yes, and what about Plano? Plano numbers?
So, yes, Plano Elementary is face-to-face is 19.
Out of all of the K-5?
Yes.
Okay.
Online learning is 52.
So out of the possibility of having about 3-ish hundred, we've had less than 100.
Middle school face-to-face is 7. Online learning is 22.
Out of 100 kids?
Yeah, about 112.
All right. And then
High High school.
High school.
High school face-to-face is 15. Online learning is 16
Out of
of
50.
about 85.
Goodness gracious. So really the percentages are lower in Plano than they are in Mesquite, which is
Dr.
interesting.
Good, I wonder too if parents think now that the state has, or the health departments have said things that they don't have to pick, but we still need them.
To answer for the future?
Yes.
Yes, because they don't understand maybe, and maybe all parents don't understand the preparation for the building that needs to happen as far as how many kids with an adult and whether we have enough space and all of those decisions that have to be resolved depending on how many kids are visiting, are coming back to the building. So, all right. So thank you, Margaret, for updating us and for letting us know that we're having a new survey come out and encouraging
Yes,
everybody. Go ahead.
Same survey, just if you haven't filled it out, we need your answers. Yes.
So if they have filled it out, they won't get one, right?
Well, they don't need, if maybe they change their mind, Dr. Good, so
Oh.
they can go in and change it.
Oh, okay.
But if they filled it out and they're sticking with their answer, we don't need them to answer again. But if they haven't answered, we need something. We need something to go on so we can plan accordingly and safely for everybody.
Okay. Well, super. Well, thank you, Margaret.
Thank you.
And you'll be sending my staff stuff out right now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so you can see that our response to our Skyward survey has not been strong enough for us to really make any decisions as far as how many kids per classroom, because those are a lot of the questions that parents are asking us. Well, who, if I send my child back, how many kids are going to be in there? They're going to have to wear masks and all those questions. We, before I forget, we also have a parent meeting tomorrow in English and on Thursday in Spanish. So if we have staff members watching right now, we have a staff meeting tomorrow at 8. So over-communicating is something that I'm really working hard at doing. I hope it doesn't annoy you all. I know oftentimes parents get annoyed when we over-communicate, but I'd rather over-communicate and annoy than under-communicate and then be accused of under-communicating. So anyway, all right. So speaking about mask wearing, I read an article that triggered the thought to invite you guys, both of you, on the show today so that we could revisit something that we haven't really talked about in a while. When we first went into COVID, late March, early April, we were really good about talking about face masks and hand washing and mental health strategies. And then we got knee-deep into remote learning, and we sort of fell away from that. So now it's time to revisit that. I think we have new information and a new call to action. But before I do the call to action, Ms. Ortiz, would you please talk to us a little bit about hand washing and how parents can help prepare kids for returning to school between hand washing and mask wearing?
Yes. So I know hand washing is something that we've heard so much during this pandemic, and it's very, very important for us to continue to do so. Parents can help with their kiddos at home starting, it should be going on, but now that, going back face to face and needing to make sure that they know that hand washing is important. And there are 5 steps when washing hands that, parents can go through with their children. One of them is to make sure that they are wetting their hands and that they're lathering their hands with plenty of soap and scrubbing for 20 seconds. And make it fun for the kids. Maybe have them hum or sing happy birthday twice. That is the equivalent of the 20 seconds. And then rinse their hands with water and dry with a clean towel. Also, it's important that the parents, let their child know when to wash their hands. After using the restroom, before eating, after playing outside, after petting a pet. Those are some very important things as well. And if soap and water aren't available, of course, hand sanitizing, just make sure that there's at least 60% alcohol in the hand sanitizer.
So would you say that, if at all possible, that parents really should be using soap as opposed to hand sanitizer?
Definitely.
I mean,
Soap and water is, yes.
I worry about our little baby hands, these little kinders, first, second grades, and we have all these sanitizing stations that are being set up at school, and there's sanitizing stations in the grocery store. And if a kid were to put sanitizer on their hands every time they saw one, I don't know how safe that would be.
No, definitely soap and water is, to me is most effective. Hand sanitizer is okay for when it's not available, but definitely soap and water.
And so let's talk about face masks and face shields. And there's a lot. I mean, the latest controversy is, should we require kids under the age of 10 to wear them in school? Where do you weigh in based on what you've read? Not your personal opinion, but based on what you're reading. And I know that you medical folks read a lot of medical stuff. What are you coming away with? What's the consensus?
I think it'd be great for students, returning to school to wear masks. I know it can get hard at times with the little ones, but I honestly would recommend it as well.
So what about face shields? What are you hearing on face shields?
I've heard both sides.
So what are both sides?
I think that maybe wearing a mask and in combination with a shield. I don't know if just the shield itself, because it doesn't give you that coverage like a mask would. That would be my opinion.
Well, I think I have read that the best case scenario is a face mask and a face shield being worn at the same time.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And again, I think the world has finally come to consensus, until it doesn't, but that when we wear a face mask, we are protecting others, not ourselves, but others. Is that right?
Right. Yes.
So when we see people who are not wearing a mask or a face shield because of a personal reason that they think they won't get it, which is why we now have an edict by the governor of Texas that says that we all must wear face masks.
Right. Exactly.
But and the compliance has been pretty good lately. I've got to say, I've got to be impressed that most people wear it in most of the places that not that I go around a lot, but the grocery store, much better coverage, much better. Oh my goodness.
I agree.
So I would.
And those are the important places to wear them, because the social distancing is a little harder when you're in large groups.
Yeah. So here's the call to action. Remember I said I had a call to action. What I would ask parents to do starting now, if you haven't already done it, is to have practice times of wearing masks, wearing a face shield if you have it. You don't have to buy one for school. We'll have it for you. We've got 2,200 face shields waiting at school, 200 for staff and 2,000 for, we are up to almost 1,700 students. And we have upwards of 10,000 masks, and that's without the masks and face shields and sanitizer being sent to us free from the Texas Education Agency. So it's not whether we have it, it's where we're going to store it. It's a good thing we have Liberty Storage in Plano, but we are not lacking these things, okay? That is just not a question. We have it. And so
Awesome.
getting kids to use it is what we're asking parents to help us with. For you to better prepare kids to come to school, we need for you guys to be practicing wearing the mask for longer than a quick trip to the store. Maybe in the mornings, we can try to work our way up to an hour with the little ones, and then maybe an hour and a half.
Exactly.
So that over time, if we do get to go back to the building, that is just a normal part of their now world. What we're asking parents to do is help us so that when we come to school, social distancing is a term they understand. Wearing a mask as they get out of the car, come into the building and get their temperature taken is just an understanding that they have because parents have prepared them for that. And not being able to get in small groups at school is something parents should be talking about. That for right now, even though we want to hug our friends, we're going to have to find a different way of saying hello. And so we'll work on that. That'll be part of what a school will train kids also to do. But it would sure be easier for the child if we could get parents to help us with this. I have a friend who has a 6-year-old, and she's very proud of the fact that her daughter can now wear the face shield an hour. They've been training. Her mother is actually a principal, and so she is training one of her own students. I'm sure that child is going to that mother's school, and she wants her child to be prepared, right, to protect others. So,
Yes.
and this could be an empathy exercise. And here we're almost bleeding over into the counselor part. Maybe by parents helping kids understand that when you wear the mask, you're helping others, you're protecting others. That might be a good sell for our children. Okay, well, thank you, Ms. Ortiz. If you would do me a favor, if you have that link from that article, can you put it in the comments so parents can access it? With the 5 things to wash hands and so forth.
Yes.
Okay, so the other thing that caught my eye were mental health strategies. We still have kids who feel a little traumatized by all of this. This has not been going on long enough for it to become a nice normal. I won't even use the new normal. It's not a nice normal for them yet. I don't know if we can make it a nice normal, but it's not yet. And so Ms. Montoya is here to help us with that. And she has a video that we're going to play. And then after the video, we'll chat.
Hi, I'm Ms. Montoya. I'm here to talk to you about some of the things that you can do to support your child's mental health. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Support. Encourage and praise your child. Feelings. Be observant of how your child is feeling. How is your child feeling? Is he sad? Is he angry? Is he scared? Pay attention to your child's feelings. Keep an eye out for changes in behavior. Inform yourself about the signs and symptoms of mental health problems. Exercise. Exercise has physical and emotional benefits. Coping. Help your child learn more simple coping skills, like meditating, exercising, asking for support, by establishing healthy boundaries. Conversations. Encourage your child to talk to you. Rest time. Help your child build rest time into their routine. Listening. Children may respond to stress in different ways, such as being more clingy, anxious, withdrawing, angry, or agitated, bedwetting, etc. Respond to your child's actions in a supportive way. Listen to their concerns and give them extra love and attention. When possible, provide opportunities for the child to play and relax. Be there for your child. Show you care, and above everything, give love.
I really like that. I think that you have put in a short period of time a lot of healthy things for parents to be looking out for. And so I want to review some of them. One of the things that you mentioned in the beginning of that made me pull up something on my phone that I want to revisit. And it's, mamas, reject the narrative that your kids being home is something to scoff at and joke about in a negative way. The language implying that they're a burden, someone else's job, an inconvenience, just reject it. Speak truth and life over this time. Remember, your children are not a distraction from the more important work. They are the most important work. And I liked that message because I heard some of that. I heard parents not being comfortable with having their kids home. Matter of fact, we had a podcast from one of our authors who talks about mindfulness and so forth, and about making sure that we're careful with our language around kids, right? And so that's a good reminder for all of us. Be observant about how your child is feeling. They're home more, you're observing more, and now it's not just a matter of watching them, but then categorizing, are there changes in their behavior? That's, and then another salient point that you made was learn the signs and symptoms of mental health problems. So how do I do that? As a parent, Ms. Montoya, how do I do that? How do I learn the symptoms of mental health problems?
Well, above everything, I think that having interactions with our children, having conversations, and talking to them about their feelings is important, as well as observing the type of behavior that they're presenting at home. They can be irritated, they can be bedwetting, and things like that can show some sort of stress that they may be experiencing. Anxiety is one of the results of this outbreak, and observations and conversations will definitely help. However, if the kids have opportunities to speak to if the parents have opportunities to speak to the children, and the children speak to their parents, and the children know that they're valued and that they're loved, they are going to be oblivious to all the consequences of mental health issues.
So one of the things that early on we mentioned in podcasts and parent meetings and parent messages was the fact that our Region 10 Service Center has a page of mental health strategies, forums, information for not only staff and educators, but for parents. And so I encourage people, and we'll put the link in the comments after the podcast. Well, let's encourage you, parents, to explore these resources. We need to stop feeling some sort of shame or embarrassment or reluctance to get our kids and our loved ones help. I wish, and I've said it before, I wish that all families felt as comfortable tapping into a mental health opportunity as people do lawyers or accountants or CPAs, right? When we have a financial problem, we have people to turn to. When we have physical problems, we have people to turn to. But when we have mental health issues, we don't naturally turn to mental health resources and experts. And so making sure that that becomes part of our family practice, that we value also our mental health specialists, because frankly, the sooner you tap into them, the quicker that problem can be resolved. Right? So
The key here is to be observant of your child's behavior. So I think that if we keep the communication open between parent and child, we can avoid a lot of the mental issues that they can arise. And being observant is one of the keys that we can do to make sure that we address those concerns that may arise from this situation.
Yes, yes. And again, COVID's not done. COVID is continuing, and this this period of time that we're going into is stressing parents, staff, and kids out. And so giving ourselves permission to tap into mental health resources and people needs to be okay with all of us. And so, again, we'll put those resources. Your family doctor has resources that they can get you. Your insurance. Parents, those of you, most of you that have insurance also have free mental health visits. Many, many insurances have 6 or 8 free visits. So it's there. The help is there. Please take advantage of it. Well, thank you, ladies. As I mentioned before the show started, in our world, the podcast, it feels like 5, and we have come to the end of our time. But thank you for adding so much value to our show. Thank you for giving us, when I say us, giving parents the updates on face masks and hand washing and mental health strategies, because they are still needed. So, all right, thank you, everyone. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ask Dr. Be Good show. For more information on Legacy Preparatory Charter Schools, visit our website, legacypca.com, or call 469-249-1099. And remember to like us on Facebook, where we stream live weekly Tuesdays at 3 p.m.